My dear brothers and sisters, today is the World Day of Migrants and Refugees, and our theme is called to be magnanimous. In the picture, Pope Francis unveils a sculpture of migrants and refugees in Rome. Now, one question to all of you. Who were the first refugees in the New Testament? Any answers? Who were the first refugees in the New Testament? Any answers? Exactly, it was Joseph, Mary, and Jesus who were the first refugees. And the refugee crisis continues to this day. Next question, how many refugees are there in the world? Any answers? According to the United Nations, there are more than 100 million refugees in the world today. As Catholics, we cannot be indifferent to the misery of so many innocent people. At the beginning of his pontificate, Pope Francis gave a clarion call to every Catholic parish, to every religious community and monastery in Europe to take in at least one refugee family. Many people were surprised. They asked why. The stand taken by Pope Francis echoes the Lord's words in today's first reading. My thoughts are not your thoughts. My ways are not your ways. At Church of Divine Mercy, we did something in line with the call of Pope Francis. Today, I invite you to listen to this sharing about a refugee. Her name is Joyce, and she is from Zimbabwe. Due to the political turmoil and widespread violations of human rights over there, Joyce and her son left their homeland 4 years back and arrived as refugees in Bangkok. In Bangkok, her life was tough, and she struggled to make ends meet. A few months after arriving in Bangkok, Joyce started feeling ill and weak. She was diagnosed with cancer. She struggled to walk and was constantly in pain. But she had to live for her son. I will come back to her story later. Brothers and sisters, some people ask, why should we support refugees? The answer is simple. First, they are human beings like us. Second, they are helpless victims of a situation. Third, If not we, who else can help them? Fourth, they must live for their children. St. Paul was in a similar situation, a question of life and death. He had to live for the sake of his disciples. He says in today's second reading, "For me, to stay alive in this body is a more urgent need for your sake." That is what every mother who is a refugee will say to her children. For me to stay alive in this body is a more urgent need for your sake. Let us return to the story of Joyce. When Joyce was in Bangkok, during this low period in her life, she heard about JRS, Jesuit Refugee Service Singapore, and she enrolled for their digital marketing course. Joyce would receive chemotherapy on Fridays so that she could recover over the weekend and be ready for the classes on Monday. When Joyce completed her course, JRS Singapore approached Church of Divine Mercy on the possibility of an internship opportunity for Joyce. CDM magnanimously offered her an internship, as we believe that mercy should be demonstrated in action. Our communication ministry members became her mentors and guided her to design posters. These are her designs, all designed by Joyce. Aren't they beautiful? While Joyce helped us with her posters, internship allowance from our social mission fund enabled Joyce to make some savings. Our communications ministry members also raised some funds and bought clothes for Joyce. Brothers and sisters, last month, Joyce received the good news that her resettlement to Canada was approved. Very soon, she will be resettled to Ontario in Canada. She leaves Thailand on this coming 5th October for a new life in Canada. Did you notice? 5th October is the feast of our patron, Saint Faustina. That's prayers answered. As a refugee, this is the best news one can receive. Brothers and sisters, I want to thank you for your generosity, which has greatly helped a family. And these are the words of gratitude from Joyce. In Thailand, I had no family to care for me. But people came together to help refugees like me to survive. Now, I really want to help other people, just as others helped me when I was facing so many difficulties. Brothers and sisters, in today's gospel, Jesus narrates the parable of the magnanimous landowner. He makes no discrimination at all. He is simply magnanimous. Let us be like him. Let us realize the plight of refugees, especially their children. Those who wish can sponsor the education of a refugee. You can also be a volunteer in any organization for the migrants and refugees. As a volunteer, you can raise funds. You can go on missions and impart skills to refugees. Above all, you can pray for refugees. Today, our awesome choir will sing the communion hymn, "Will you let my love be shown? Will you let my name be known? Will you let my life be grown?" Let us reflect the magnanimity of God. Brothers and sisters, on this World Day of Migrants and Refugees, we are called to be magnanimous. Amen.